So let's begin. So question will be asked in this form. Derive the section formula for the position vector of a point that divides the vector joining 2 points internally in the ratio m is to n. So let's derive. So here is the figure. So here is the vector joining 2 points P and Q, and R is the point that dividing PQ internally in the ratio m is to n, means R is somewhere between P and Q, which is dividing PQ in the ratio m is to n. And our intention is, or our aim is, to find this position vector. Means you have to find the position vector of the point R. Position vector means the vector joining O and that point is called the position vector of the point R. Okay, so let's begin. So consider P and Q are such that vector A is the position vector of the point P and vector B is the position vector of the point Q. Let's assume this. Okay, so consider a vector PQ joining 2 points P and Q, and let R be the point that divides the vector PQ internally in the ratio m is to n, and OP is that is vector A is the position vector of P and vector B is the position vector of Q, and vector OR is the position vector of R, that is denoted by R. So now we have to find the expression for this vector R. Okay, so let's see. So this is the explanation for the figure. Now see here, the same figure is out here. Now as you have taken R is a point such that dividing PQ vector in the ratio m is to n. So that is this. So vector PR by vector RQ is the ratio m is to n. Cross multiply. So n into vector PR is equal to m into vector RQ. Now you have to find what is vector PR and vector RQ by triangle law of vector addition. So let's start. Compare this triangle. Look at this triangle, triangle ORQ. In this triangle, search for two vectors which are taken along the same order. Okay, as we have discussed how the triangle law of vector addition can be applied. Look at this, vector OR and vector RQ. They are taken in the same order. Okay, so these can be added and the resultant of these two vectors, that is OR and RQ, is vector OQ that we have discussed in how the triangle of vector addition can be applied. Okay, so vector OR plus RQ is vector OQ, and our intention is to find vector RQ because we required here. Okay, so vector RQ is transfer this OR to the right, so that becomes minus OR. Now we have OQ as the vector B and vector OR is the vector R. Substitute here. Similarly, look at this triangle, compare or look at this triangle OPR, and again apply the triangle law of vector addition. So here OP plus PR, OP plus vector PR is equal to vector OR. So we require PR, so PR is equal to this, vector OR means R and OP means A. So PR is equal to transfer A this side, that is vector R minus A. And rest of the thing is very simple. Substitute these two quantities in this expression. Okay, so let's see what will happen. So this is the relation what we have earlier, and PR is nothing but R minus A and RQ is nothing but vector B minus R. So just you have to multiply with n to each term inside and here with m. So n into vector R minus n into vector A. Similarly, m into vector B minus m into vector R. Now, our intention is to find the vector R. So collecting the vector R terms to the left. So transferring this term to the left and this term to the right. So let's see here. So minus m vector m r becomes, it's a plus m vector r, and minus n vector a becomes plus n vector a. Now from these two take r vector common, so you left with m plus n and this as it is. Now we want r, so divide it by m plus n. So you will left with this, means bringing this to the right, it becomes division. N plus m can be written as m plus n. So this is the formula for finding this position vector of a point r, that dividing vector joining PQ internally in the ratio m is to n. So this is our required result. So remember how it can be proved. Better you take screenshot of each screen and make your own notes. So now we'll discuss some particular case of this. Means if r is the midpoint, then what will happen to this formula? So that is called the midpoint formula. That is a particular case of this internal division. That is what midpoint formula. Okay. So now let us assume that r is the midpoint of PQ. So if r is the midpoint of PQ, then what will happen? Now then these two parts become same. If r is the midpoint, means r divides PQ exactly it into two parts. Okay, same two parts, equal parts. So that is what this is. If this part is m, means this is also going to be m. So if you put m is equal to n in the previous formula, you will get m vector b plus n vector. Instead of n, you write again m vector a. So from these two you can take m common, you left with vector b plus vector a, and m plus m is 2m, and m cancels, you will left with vector a plus vector b. So this is the midpoint formula, means position vector of the midpoint of the vector joining 2 points P and Q, where A and B are what? They are the position vectors of P and Q. So remember, this is also very much important, but this is the particular case of this previous internal division formula. Okay, now we'll discuss much examples on this to get the concept clear. Okay, so here is one example. Find the position vector of a point R which divides the line joining 2 points P and Q, whose positions are, means position vectors are given, whose position vectors are I plus 2j minus k cap and minus I cap, j cap plus k cap respectively in the ratio 2:1 internally. Okay, so as you all know, so position vector means this is a vector A and this is vector B. So let's see the figure. You can understand it with the help of figure. So drawing figure is not essential, but to understand the concept, to better you draw the figure. So here is the figure, and R is the point that is dividing this PQ vector in the ratio 2:1 internally. So R is the somewhere between P and Q. That is the meaning of internal. Now A is the position vector of P point and vector B is the position vector of Q. And now according to given, what will happen? Look at this. So as given, vector A means this position vector of P point. So this is your vector A. This is the position vector of Q. So that is vector B, and that is nothing but OQ. And our aim is to find the position vector of the point R. And it is given that this point divides PQ in the ratio 2:1. So very simple, straightforward, use the formula. So here is the formula by section formula. So substitute your vector B, vector A and M and N. So here is the vector B, vector A and this is M and N. So just multiply 2 to each term and 1 to each term of this vector. Okay, 2 into minus I cap is a minus 2 I cap, 2 into j cap 2 j cap, 2 into k cap 2 k cap, 1 into this means everything remains the same. 2 plus 1 is 3. Now as we added vectors component wise, so here also we can add I terms, j terms, k terms. Now look at this, minus 2i cap plus I cap. So as it is, it's equivalent to minus 2 plus 1, that is minus 1. So in the same way, minus 2i cap plus I cap is minus I cap. 2j cap plus 2j cap is plus 4j cap. Plus 2 cap minus k cap is 1 k cap. It is equivalent to plus 2 minus 1. Plus 2 minus 1 is plus 1. So you can write simply write k cap. So this is the required position vector of the point R that divides PQ internally in the ratio 2:1. Now here one example, asked to find the midpoint of the position vector of the midpoint of the vector joining 2 points P and Q. So P and Q are given in terms of coordinates, and as we all know, if they are given in terms of coordinates, it stands for, or its position vector is 2i 3j plus 4k cap, and position vector of Q can be written as 4i cap plus j cap minus 2k cap. We have discussed earlier. So look at this again. Okay, so this is the vector PQ. R is the midpoint, means these two parts are same, and we are supposed to find the position vector of the point R. Okay, so as you all know, write the given, what is A and what is B and what is R, you have to find. Okay, now look at this. By midpoint formula, the position vector of the midpoint is given by vector A plus vector B by 2, and substitute A and B, very simple, add component wise, that is 2i cap plus 4i cap is a 6i cap, 3j cap plus j cap is 4j cap, 4k cap minus 2k cap is, so like 4 minus 2 is 2k cap. From these two, if anything is common, then take it out. So 2 is the common thing here. So you left with, after taking 2 common, you left with 3i cap, 2 2s are 4, that is 2j cap, 2 is taken outside, you left with only k cap. Now 2 to get cancelled, you left with only this. So this is the required vector or the required position vector of the midpoint of the vector joining P and Q. So I will be giving some examples for a practice. So better you take screenshot of these examples and please work. Answer is also provided here. So please check out with your result. Okay. So better you take screenshot of these two problems. Okay students.